When you're scrolling through endless listings for a new storage piece, the biggest question that keeps nagging at you is simple. Will this thing actually hold up in the chaos of daily life, look good in the room, and be worth the cash? You don't need a 1,000-page spec sheet, you just need confidence that the cabinet you bring home won't end up as a decorative hazard or an expensive footnote. That's the exact spot where the LICONG 2019 Sweeper Robot Storage Cabinet lands for a lot of people, and it's why I spent a few days walking around a friend's apartment, reading the angles, and checking the dimensions before hitting record. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest hesitation I hear from shoppers is the tall cabinet anxiety. Will it fit my ceiling? Will the doors swing open in a tight hallway? Is the wood going to warp after a few seasons? Those worries are legitimate because a piece that looks sleek in a catalogue can become a nightmare once you try to slide it past a doorframe or load it with books, bottles, and shoes. In the case of the LICONG 2019, the design is intentionally lean, about 5 feet high, but the depth is kept to a modest 12 inches. That means you can snug it against a wall without it jutting out into your living space. The back panel is reinforced with a solid wood frame, and the whole thing feels heavier than your average particle board unit, something that translates into less wobble when you're pulling out the bottom drawer. Who should consider this cabinet? If you live in an apartment where floor space is at a premium, but you still want a dedicated spot for a small wine collection, a stack of novels, and maybe a few decorative boxes, this unit hits the sweet spot. The Sweeper Robot naming is a bit of branding fluff, but what they really mean is a versatile storage solution that can double as a mini library, a wine cooler stand, just add a small cooler inside, and a wall-mounted bookcase without feeling like you're buying 3 separate pieces. Families with kids will appreciate the sturdy doors that stay closed even when a curious toddler leans against them. On the other hand, if you're a collector who needs climate-controlled storage for expensive records or a large TV stand, you'll quickly find this cabinet a little too narrow and not engineered for heavy equipment. The practical strengths become evident the moment you actually start loading it. The upper shelf is wide enough for a few hardcover novels or art books, and the slatted back gives you a quiet place to lean a decorative ladder for those top-level items. The middle compartment includes a set of sliding drawers that glide smoothly on metal runners, not the cheap plastic sliders that bind after a few pulls. I tested one by packing it with a stack of coffee table books, a couple of shoe boxes, and a small wine rack, and the drawers still opened without a hitch. The bottom shelf is reinforced, so you can place a small plant or a decorative box without worrying about sagging. Because the cabinet is made from solid wood rather than a composite, it tends to absorb humidity better, which is a subtle but important factor if you're placing wine bottles inside. Now for the hidden trade-offs. The solid wood construction also means the unit is heavier to move. If you're looking for a piece that you can slide from room to room on a whim, you'll need at least one strong person to help. The finish is a light tone veneer that looks elegant in a modern living room, but it can show fingerprints and dust more readily than a darker stain. That isn't a flaw, just something to keep in mind if you have a high-traffic area where cleaning becomes part of daily routine. Also, the cabinet doesn't come with any built-in lighting. You'll have to add a lamp or LED strip if you want illuminated shelves. That extra step is easy, but it does add a minor cost and a bit of installation time. One of the biggest concerns for buyers is the value for money equation. At its price point, the LICONG 2019 positions itself as a mid-range piece, more expensive than a basic IKEA cube, but less than a custom-built solid wood unit. The value really comes from the combination of durability, the versatile layout, and the fact that you're getting a tall piece that replaces a separate bookshelf and a wine stand. If you were to buy those two items separately, you'd likely spend more, and you'd also end up with 2 sets of legs, 2 sets of hardware, and 2 mismatched looks. The cabinet consolidates all of that into one cohesive design. The best choice badge on the listing isn't just marketing jargon, it reflects the consensus that the product balances aesthetics and sturdiness well for everyday users. Who should skip it? If you're on a shoestring budget and can live with a simple metal rack, this cabinet might feel over-engineered for your needs. Similarly, if you have a minimalist aesthetic that prefers floating